And tonight, a local pastor says he's getting censored on social media. Pastor Greg Locke is known for being outspoken, and he's not holding back now. Fox 17 News' Jackie DePollar spoke with him. Jackie, Locke was at the Capitol last week during the riots.
Pastor Locke tells me he was there preaching, but didn't go inside the Capitol or participate in anything violent. Now he and other conservative voices feel like they're under attack by social media companies. When thousands of people stormed our nation's capital last week, Pastor Greg Locke from Mount Juliet was there, outside in the crowd.
Prayed with some people and got me a little bullhorn and preached about Jesus a little bit.
He posted about it on social media, alongside other recent tweets like, "Dear Left, your fake outrage is nauseating," and calling leftists, quote, demon-possessed mongrels. But he tells me he doesn't want more division in America. Some of your tweets will reference leftists as evil and things like that. Mm-hmm. Do you not think that further divides people?
You know what? I think that Jesus came, the Bible says, to bring a sword, meaning by that I think we have to call things the way that they are. I mean, there really is a leftist agenda, not necessarily a Democrat agenda, but a leftist agenda of people that are out there that want to take away our constitutional rights.
Since the riot, Locke says he's lost thousands of followers on Twitter, and his personal Facebook account was suspended temporarily. He says that's censorship.
It's a calculated situation where it can't happen to that many people and just be, accidental.
But assistant law professor at Vanderbilt, Ghanem Hans, says that's not considered censorship under the law, but rather content moderation.
So I think censorship is being used rhetorically for political reasons, but I don't think it's an accurate term for what the platforms are doing.
Hans says each platform has their own set of rules and their own right to decide what's allowed. Forcing companies to allow certain people or types of content would likely be challenged in court as government overreach.
Calls to violence, calls to overthrow the government with, this kind of direct action and incitement, I think, undermines the core democratic values that this country, has stood for and has tried to promulgate around the world.
Locke disagrees, saying he has a right to get his message out to his millions of followers, even if it upsets some people. Locke tells me he understands that he may come off as a, quote, colossal jerk on social media, but he says that's not who he is or what he wants to be known for.
Continuing coverage as a coffee company, it's a coffee company that's garnered national praise for supporting our troops, is on the defense after the D.C. riots. The Nashville man, dubbed as the zip tie guy, later identified wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company hat. Fox 17 News' Nikki Jenowitz live downtown tonight to explain it isn't the first time the business has had to distance itself from protest violence. Nikki.
Yes, Stacey, FBI agents used a number of identifying characteristics to track down and arrest Eric Munchel, and one of those was a thin blue line Black Rifle Coffee Company hat. And as the social media world was very quick to point out, he is not the first high-profile protester to be supporting that brand.
In the aftermath of the D.C. riots, a pro-veteran, pro-gun coffee company once again getting some publicity it didn't expect. And maybe didn't even want. Just a few months after the Kenosha, Wisconsin teen accused of shooting and killing 2 people at a BLM protest was seen on social media sporting a Black Rifle Coffee shirt, sparking rumors of a sponsorship deal, the FBI released photos of Trump-supporting zip tie guy Eric Munchel inside Senate chambers wearing one of the brand's thin blue line hats. While the internet may be quick to draw conclusions and make a connection, former federal prosecutor Alex Little says not so fast.
I think there's a wide gulf between an accusation like that and facts that prove it. And oftentimes there's symbols that folks in any movement, including the white supremacist or right-wing movement, that they sort of latch onto. That doesn't mean the folks who are behind that symbol are at all part of the larger movement.
Fox 17 has yet to receive a response from Black Rifle Coffee in regards to Eric Munchel's case, but CEO Evan Hafer did respond to the Kyle Rittenhouse allegations via Instagram video, denying any affiliation or relationship.
Did we sponsor Kyle Rittenhouse? The answer is no. The reason for that, and the reason why I think it's important, is that We're not in the business of profiting from tragedy. We're not in the business of profiting from this event.
Since it was founded 6 years ago, the Patriotic Roasters have received national praise for their $1 million in donations to veteran nonprofits and their commitment to hiring servicemen and women while raising awareness for First Amendment rights. Conservative commentator Steve Gill says that is what makes them a target for blame.
I think they're absolutely being unfairly targeted. They support the police. They support conservative values. They support our military. I don't think there's any indication at all that Black Rifle Company was encouraging or participating. They weren't out there handing out hats to the rioters. It's not any different than folks that might have been wearing Nike shoes or Nike ball caps or any other logoed gear there.
And again, I reached out to Black Rifle Coffee Company several times today via Twitter, email, even LinkedIn, to ask them, how do they feel about all of this attention? And as soon as they get back to me, I will be sure to let you know exactly what they say.
Continuing coverage tonight of the fallout surrounding the deadly riot at the U.S. Capitol last week. Tonight, prosecutors are looking at even more serious charges like conspiracy.
And a conviction on a charge like that could mean a 20-year prison sentence for any rioter who helped to organize the violence, possibly including Nashville's own zip tie guy. Fox 17 News' Alex Apple now is live downtown to explain the serious mistakes those rioters made that could cost them big.
Well, Scott, just last week, nobody knew who Eric Munkle was. He lived in Florida, moved here, worked at a couple of bars, been fired from his last one on Broadway. Now he's here at the downtown detention center. And that's because he, like so many other people, left a digital footprint, videos, live streams, pictures, creating a mountain of evidence, attorneys say, that is now teeing up the case for prosecutors against them.
We've been filmed today by so many people for Next News and
Next News and then Antifa.
Talking proudly. After the Capitol riot, Eric Munkle went back to his D.C. hotel and enjoyed drinks with his mother. This woman, who told a London tabloid she was there to die or fight.
Is that evidence that federal prosecutors would actually use in a trial, all of this internet footprint?
Absolutely. Of course they are. And it's amazing that they would be dumb enough to be creating evidence for the prosecutors in this case just to show their friends and post on social media, but it'll get used against them, absolutely.
Criminal defense attorney Leah Wilson thinks more charges are coming for Munkle.
The charges could get way more serious.
And Wilson says he's given prosecutors a mountain of evidence to prosecute him. Investigators think this video catches him in full military garb, the same garb he was wearing minutes earlier outside, entering the Capitol with zip ties and what looks like a weapon on his hip.
I think one struggles to imagine what use a zip tie would have in an area you're not supposed to be in. So, yes, I think that could be considered a weapon.
The 30-year-old used to work at a bar in Florida, and then Kid Rock's Honky Tonk posted him on their Instagram last year. He had no criminal record, but now faces 3 federal charges with no bond until he's extradited to D.C.
I'm more concerned of where our country is going person to person.
That may be a noble feeling, but what he's accused from is far from pure. The FBI saying today that they had intelligence many were traveling to D.C. to cause violence.
We have to separate the aspirational from the intentional and determine which of the individuals saying despicable things on the internet are just practicing keyboard bravado, or they actually have the intent to do harm.
And the FBI is out to prove Munkle was the latter. We've put up on the screen now a group of images of people the FBI is still looking for, and the Justice Department said today that they expect the number of people arrested from this riot to rise to well over 100. As one person put it, geometrically. I think he meant exponentially, but they're certainly not done compiling their case.